Hello everyone, and welcome back to the very strong 1936 international tournament in Moscow. We have a game from round 10. It's the last round before everyone plays yet again against everyone, but only with colors reversed, as it is a double round robin. With the white pieces, it's a very strong international Soviet international master Ilia Abramovich Khan versus Jose Raul Capablanca. So it's Capa versus Khan. And Capa is still in the lead, and if he manages to, not lose a single game, then he can go into the second half of the tournament still controlling the tournament. It's a very interesting game. It was considered to be the best game of the tournament played so far. But we're gonna check out the other half of the tournament as well. Maybe there will be some other games that will get this kind of credit. And it's also, this game is mentioned in Garry Kasparov's My Great Predecessors. So it's analyzed in length, some four pages of analysis there as well. So I will also use some of the comments from there, but also some of the comments will be from Capablanca himself. Now, as a couple of previous photo challenges were a bit difficult, here is an easy one, just to ease into the new week. So here it is. Who is this gentleman? For 1 point and for some extra points, what is he most known for? Best of luck to everyone. Now let's check out the game. Ilia Abramovich Khan goes e4. We have e5, knight to c3, going for the Vienna game, and Capablanca goes for bishop to c5. Here Capablanca says that in those days the usual line was knight f6 followed by f4, but then you kind of have to go into d5, the main line of the Vienna, and Capablanca didn't want to go into this. He played bishop to c5, the so-called Anderssen defense. And here we have knight to f3. And Capa says that by playing knight to f3, it was already clear that that Khan was not interested in going for a full point, rather he would be satisfied with a draw. Because if he wanted to play a sharp line, he would go f4, and after d6, only then develop the knight, transposing into the classical variation of the king's gambit. But okay, after bishop c5, knight to f3, we have d6, and now knight to a4. Immediately going after Capablanca's bishop, as he did lock it in with this d6 move. So, okay, Capablanca will now lose the bishop pair. Bishop to b6 and knight captures. A captures on b6 and now d4. It's very interesting. Already Khan won the bishop pair, but he did give Capablanca the semi-open a file, and he did, well, it seems like the pawn structure is ruined, but the pawn did capture towards the center, so it kind of did even improve the pawn structure, as now the rook has a semi-open file. Khan is kind of neglecting his development, as he already played 3 moves with the knight just to get rid of it. But okay, e captures on d4, and now queen captures on d4. Here queen to e7 might be a bit better, just developing, not allowing white such a nice square for the queen, but Capablanca does it with the sheer purpose of exchanging queens with queen to f6. We have bishop to g5. There was a well-known game from 1911 between Schlechter and Janovsky, where bishop to d3 was played, and the game had resulted in early equality. But here bishop to g5 by Khan. We have queen captures on d4, knight captures on d4, and bishop to d7 now. Bishop to c4, knight to e7, castles, and now knight to g6. Capablanca doesn't castle just yet. First knight to g6, it's the idea behind knight to g6 is preventing f4, because now if white plays f4, then h6, the bishop has nowhere to go. Because here the knight will capture it, and after f5, so if captures, black simply ignores him, knight e5, and now both bishops are under attack, and black wins the game. So just a nice in-between move before castling. Here we have a3, castles, and now rook a to d1. Capablanca develops the knight to c6, and here there are a lot of things you can do here. You can play c3, simply add protection to the knight on d4, and if Capablanca captures, then you will improve your center. Knight to b5 isn't all that great. Okay, you are attacking this pawn, but knight c to e5, attacking the undefended bishop on c4. And after bishop moves, then you capture the knight. After bishop captures, then you have rook to a5, attacking the bishop. And after bishop moves, you get knight f3 check. Bishop moves, and the rook captures on g5. So black really, exchanges the material, and now Capablanca would be very happy to play this position against Khan. So here, instead, after this knight to c6 move, Capablanca suggested the very, a peculiar looking bishop to c1, because it will immediately prevent this entire idea that the rook, after it comes to a5, will be already attacking the bishop on g5, but also after bishop to c1 you will be able to push b3 and a4. White would enjoy pushing b3, but the rook is constantly attacking this pawn, so bishop to c1, a very nice idea by Capablanca, preparing b3 and a4. But here knight captures on c6 is played by Khan. Khan exchanges material, but again, Capablanca says this only improves his pawn structure, yet again capturing towards the center. Bishop back to d2. Again, Capablanca says bishop to c1 would have been better, still with the idea of playing b3 and a4, because now we have rook to a4. Bishop to d3, getting away from the rook, and now knight to e5, attacking the bishop. Bishop to c3, and although Capablanca is better here, there's no way to actually prove that he's better. White still has the bishop pair, and after f6 and f3, you kind of don't want to capture on d3. If you capture, then you're left with opposite colored bishops, and then Capablanca says that it would be very hard to go for any sort of advantage here. We have rook to e8, and now rook to f2. And here Capablanca finds a different way to seek advantage. Bishop to c8. Again, capturing on d3, yes, you do rid white of the bishop pair, but then opposite colored bishops, not something you can push. Bishop to c8, preparing bishop to a6 to exchange a light square bishop for a light square bishop, and then it's a knight against a dark square bishop. Capablanca can work with that. Here, bishop to f1 was played. Although this bishop to a6 idea, Capablanca says, can be easily prevented with rook to a1. Now bishop to a6 will be met with the simple b3, and the rook cannot go back because of the bishop. You lose the exchange here. But okay, after here, bishop to f1 was played. Now comes bishop to a6, bishop captures, rook captures, and now bishop captures on e5. Again, Capablanca says that there's no good reason for this exchange. Okay, you do go into a rook's endgame, but this only improves Capablanca's pawn structure. We have rook to d3. c4 would have been better, kind of preventing Capablanca from creating a storm on the queen side. But okay, b5, now not allowing c4 anymore. We have rook to d2, and now c5. King to f2, you have to bring your king into the game. Rook to a4, a very nice idea, preventing white from pushing f4, because then the e4 pawn would be weak. King to e3, and now comes king to f7. Rook back to d1. Khan here doesn't have a clear plan of what he wants to do. We have king to e6, and now comes king to d2. Again, just waiting to see what Capablanca will do. Rook to b8, transferring the rook to the queen side and preparing to push those pawns. Rook to c3, we have g5 now, h3 and h5. Here, rook to h1, rook to d4 with check, and king back to e2. The Capablanca's idea was, if you block here, then you get c4. You have to capture the rook. After captures. Now black really has a nice advantage here. So after rook d4, we have king to e2, and now comes rook to g8, again preparing g4. Rook to d3. Here Capablanca avoids the trade of rooks, as he very much enjoys his active rook, whereas white's rook on d3 isn't all that great. Rook h back to d1, and now g4. H captures on g4, h captures on g4, and king to e3. Here, Capablanca's idea was that if white wants to grab the hold of the open h file, to play g captures on f3, with the idea of rook captures on g2, so you have to capture with the pawn, but then rook to g2 check, king d1, and then comes b4, with some nice activity for black. Of course, if you capture, you get rook to a1 checkmate, so a very nice position for black. After h captures on g4, king to e3 was played, but now rook to h8. Again, a very nice idea. Now controlling the h file. You don't really care about f captures on g4. If this is played, then simply rook back here, attacking the pawn. After king defends it, rook f8. After king moves, rook f4, now attacking the e pawn and the g pawn. This would be winning for black. So after rook h8, rook to b3. Attacking the b5 pawn, but Capablanca doesn't care about the b5 pawn. He plays rook to h2, attacking the g2 pawn. We have rook to d2, defending it, and now rook to d4. Again, offering also the b5 pawn, but not really. Here, rook to e2 was played. If you play rook captures here, then you get c captures on d4, and after king to f2, g captures on f3, king captures on f3, and c6 now. And again, with a winning position for black, this weak pawn will be too much for white to deal with. So after rook to d4, of course you don't want to capture this and allow captures on g2. So first rook to e2, still keeping control of the g2 pawn. We have c6, and now comes rook to c3. And here, Capablanca should have played h1, but this is move number 40. So Capablanca needs to make one more move before he reaches time control, and then he will wait for Khan to also make a move. But that move will be, the game will be adjourned then and continue tomorrow. But here, Capablanca actually played g3, and here. After Khan wrote down a move, and that the game will be continued tomorrow. And tomorrow, when they arrived here to continue their game, Capablanca suggested that if Khan prepared f4, then Capablanca offers a draw. But if he didn't, then the game will continue. Capablanca saw that after f4, rook to h4. F captures, rook captures, king moves, rook f4 check, king captures, rook g4 check, king f3, rook captures on e2, king captures, rook captures on g2, now king f3, the rook is under attack and has to move, rook h2, and now king g3 once again, attacking the rook. Rook moves, and only now e captures on d6. King captures, and here, with the material being completely the same, it would be an easy draw. But unfortunately for Khan, he did not play f4. He played rook to d3, and now the game has to continue. Here, Capablanca continued rook to h1. We have f4 now, preparing f5. We have rook to f1, cutting off the king from the g3 pawn, as g3 pawn is essential for Capablanca to win this game. f5 with check, and now king to f6. We have c3. Forcing a trade of rooks, rook captures, king captures, and now d5. Now the pawn storm is being pushed. b3, we have c4, this comes with check, b captures, pawn captures, and king to e3. Here, rook to a1, and now it's very much obvious that the queenside pawns are much too weak. Here, king to f3 was played. Now, finally, Khan can grab the g3 pawn. Rook captures on a3, king captures, and now Capablanca captures the c3 pawn. We have king to h4, and now rook to c1. Capablanca is up a pawn, and with an excellent position. We have g4. Now, if Khan could push g5, then maybe he could still hope for something here, but Capablanca doesn't allow it. Rook to h1 check, king g3, now comes d4. Now with two connected passed pawns, this is game over. Rook to a2, we have d3, king g2, and now rook to e1, attacking the pawn. King f2 was played, but it doesn't matter even if you play king f3 defending the pawn, then c3 is coming. In the game, king f2 was played, and after rook captures on e4, Ilia Abramovich Khan resigned the game. Also, in Kasparov's book, the first volume of My Great Predecessors, it says that also king f3 was played, and only then Khan resigned the game. But on chessgames.com, it says that after rook e4 the game was over. So, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. So yeah, that was the game, round 10 of the very strong international tournament in Moscow of 1936, Ilia Abramovich Khan versus Jose Raul Capablanca. I do hope you enjoyed it. It's a very nice, demonstration of how to play the endgame, and a lot of people said that, as I already mentioned in the first video of this series, that Capablanca won this tournament, that it was definitely due to Capablanca's superior endgame technique that he was able to win this tournament. So yeah, once again, I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Simon Leme for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully with some other interesting games. And I hope you enjoyed the soccer game yesterday. It was really intense, and yeah, I really thought that that Croatia was out of the game, but somehow they prevailed. So bad luck for Denmark, but someone has to lose. So yeah, thank you all, and I will see you soon.